Hello, hello, hello. What's happening in the magical world of everybody today? Sorry for that being a little bit late. We had some problem with a stream key issue, but I am here today with the great Harringzord.
Hello. Hello, and thanks for the invite as well. It was very much a last-minute call-up
Yeah,
due to here.
I've been told that they were looking for people to co-host with me for a while, and then it just popped up today that it was going to be you. That's good to meet
Well,
you.
there we go.
We've never even talked to each other, I don't think.
No, this is literally a first.
Yeah, and now we're working together. So let's get into it. So this is the Twitch Blood Bowl Legendary Invitational League. We have 80 teams currently inside. And let's have a look at them. So are there any teams that you can see, or any players that are currently in the team that you would probably pick out as people that stand out?
Well, I mean, I'm here from Rebel. Rebel's pretty much the league I'm heavily involved with. So we've got two teams in the competition.
Okay. So which ones are
because
those?
we were over 200 coaches, so we qualified for two teams. So we have what we're essentially calling the A team, which is made up of the Sage, Horny Cricket, Luminous, and God, who's the fourth one? Oh, Sanju, who's one of our Aussies.
And they're another Australian like
guys,
myself.
Yeah. They're basically all guys who've won our league, essentially our Super Bowl tournament.
I see. So what are the names of those two teams?
So they've all got Rebel in the team name. So we've got Horny Rebels, we've got Rebel Elapsing Arts. There's also Rebel A-Team Witches and Athel Lauren Rebels.
All right. Yeah, I see. There are
REBBL.
currently 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with Rebel in them. So there are other.
Yeah, we've also got the B team. The B team's running more of the stunty teams. I think Metal's the sort of overlord of the league, Full Metal, and he's got a plan in his head for how to claim every single possible trophy here. So we'll see if it works.
Well, I mean, if he can pull it off, it'd be something to see. And we also have some people that are saying Harringzord hype in chat. Look at that.
Yeah. So, how you doing, man?
Yeah, we
I've had a temporary transfer.
Yeah, to very. I mean, maybe he's going to be here for the entire league. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to work out. But also Larkstar, yeah. Unified naming is fantastic. In my league, I've got a lineman league doing something similar.
Yeah. But nothing else would make it really handy on these sort of things to find the bloody teams.
So out of the teams that you've currently got in the league, the Red Bull, which one would you say is the most standout? Like, which one do you think has the highest chance of winning with the competition that you're being met with so far?
Good question. Very well presented. Horny Cricket knows what he's doing with a lizard team. Simple as that. He's the only ever two-time winner of Rebel. And I actually played against him on Wednesday night with, he was playing a lizard team, I was playing an undead team in our clan league. And he wiped the floor with me.
Wow.
So he knows what he's doing. And he'll be a tough nut to crack for anyone who's up against him.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Lizards were I think Lizards were the very first team I ever played. And it's also on Blood Bowl 2 was the first team I ever created. And they're actually, that particular team is still in my private league because it got taken out of the open league and I put it in my private instead. Can we introduce ourselves? Sure. My name is Nephilim AU. People call me Nephils. I am from my own channel of Nephilim_AU. I've been playing Blood Bowl 1 for a couple of years. Been playing Blood Bowl 2 for a couple of months. And I've been streaming for about 4 months. I'm just a little old affiliate. And Harringzord, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've basically been I joined the Rebel for season 3, which is probably just over a year ago. Been playing Blood Bowl for not much longer than that. And then the whole streaming thing sort of started earlier this year. I was doing some written content for Rebel before that. It was quite popular, and then someone said, "Oh, you should try streaming," and apparently that's been quite popular as well. So I just keep doing it now.
Yep, I completely get that. I quit my job and just went, I'm going to start doing this full time because my job was making me miserable. And I'm like, if I find, I'll look for another job while I do it, and I haven't really needed to. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And yeah, Blood Bowl. I never got to play the tabletop. Have you ever played the tabletop?
I do own the new tabletop, but I've not played it much. So because it's probably too much of a money sink, if we're honest.
Yep, yeah, that's why I stopped playing Warhammer. They did not have the money for it. But looking at Horny's Blood Bowl team, 1 for the Horny, 2 for the Ho. Oh god. He's gotten himself a Bloxigor, which is a very good choice in my opinion. So far, every Lizardman team that I have made, I have tried my best to get myself a Bloxigor, and I will. If I don't get a Bloxigor by level 3, I'll probably remake them.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely right. It's so much more reliable.
Exactly.
With that one skill.
I'm actually surprised he didn't maybe go into break tackle on the Bloxigor as well. Because from what I'm... were they not allowed to start from level 3? I could have sworn that they could.
I don't know, actually.
It was just team value, but I suppose that would have upped his team value too much, so I get it. He's got...
And to be honest, putting all of that...
in one player could be very dangerous.
Not only that, but into one player who can bonehead at will.
Yep.
Is way too much of a risk.
What's the build package for this tourney? I will get that up now. I've got it here. It's based on tier. So the team tiers are Team 1 tiers, which have a total value allowed of 1,220 points. Amazon, Chaos Dwarfs, Dark Elves, Normal Dwarves, Lizardmen, Necromantic, Norse, Orc, Skaven, Undead, and Wood Elves. Tier 2, which can have a total team value of 1,240 points. Britannians, Chaos, Human, High Elves, Khemri, Kislev, Nurgle, Elven Union, those pro elves, Underworld, and Vampires. And Tier 3, which can have a total team value of 1,270 points, are Halflings, Goblins, and Ogres. People are allowed to go under the team value by any amount that they want just to get the extra inducements, though they do not get to bank the cash that they would get from that.
Which is basically a rule for Halflings.
Yeah, exactly.
To an extent, Goblins.
Yeah, and a little bit Goblins. No SPP can be earned during matches. You use the same roster in every match you play. So there are no level ups in this. The teams are going to be static, so it is about who can make the best team with the team value they're given and how long they'll go for.
Also worth pointing out that Tier 1 have a maximum of 6 skills applicable, and that's 2 doubles maximum. Tier 2 can apply 7 skills with a maximum of 3 doubles. And Tier 3 teams can apply 8 skills with a maximum of 4 doubles.
And teams that are Tier 1 don't get to induce. Yeah, they don't get to get inducements if they are Tier 1 teams. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good setup. He's got 1 skink with sidestep. I find it really interesting that he didn't go sure hands.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like
I think that might have been worth a double.
That would have, in my opinion, he should have gone for the sure hand skink. Mind you, that is dangerous because of that armor value 7.
It is, yeah, I guess as well. Not a surprise to see more of the skills going into the armor value 9 players than the skinks.
Yeah.
Because you don't really need massively leveled skinks.
No. I mean, the only reason I have ever had massively leveled skinks is because they got an agility plus.
Yeah.
Which made them an absolute nightmare because one of my skinks has an agility plus and a block. So he is impossible to. He's just only one die on the die can get him. Only one side of the die can get him, and he dodges through absolutely everything.
Saruman making a good point that the sidestep could well be for one turning, assuming he survives that long.
That is true. Trying to think about what other plays he could make with that. Break tackle on the Saurus instead of another block or something like that. Maybe guard. Who's going to have something like that? What do you think of that? What plays would be made with a break tackle?
Well, it stops him from getting tied down, doesn't it? Because that's the big problem with Saurus, that they end up stuck against, if you're up against an undead team, for example, all you're looking to do is just throw zombies up against all of those Saurus. Also
Khemri. He was up against a Khemri team with their Tomb Guardians.
Yeah, at the same time, he does lack tackle.
So
if he was up against
Amazons,
for example, he's going to have a big problem.
Wood Elves will completely screw him. But anyway, have a look at the other team. What was the other team that you guys had? The Witches, the Revolt Team Witches? A-Team Witches.
Yeah, well, I'm sure most people have heard of the Sage. And we were delighted that the Sage chose to represent us in this.
I love his team motto. It's... And I don't know about this channel's swear rating, because on mine I'm an Australian, I go crazy with it. But it's effing past midnight and I've been drinking. That's oh my god! And he's named all of his team placeholder 1 to 11. I have a feeling the poor bastard was contacted at like midnight and told, "Why haven't you made your team yet?" Do that.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, an interesting build. What have we got? We've got a Wrestle Witch.
And he's put Mighty Blow on one of his blitzers.
I think that's fair enough. You probably do want one Mighty Blow threat on...
True. And actually one of the best High Elf teams, so not Dark Elf, but High Elves that I have ever seen, was a team that was just bashers. Every double that they got Mighty Blow. Or something
Seriously,
like that.
man, there's a Strength 5 High Elf running round Rebel.
Oh god.
It's Strength 5 Mighty Blow. It's horrible. There
fun.
are bounties on that thing.
Ceramol says can't trust Sage for anything.
Intending to rebuild it. There we go.
Okay. But named after viewers. So that's what I do. I name all of my guys after viewers. So yeah, I think it's apart from that Mighty Blow, which is the only thing I saw that sort of went ooh and stood out, was I think everything else is pretty stock standard. Maybe putting he could have put block on that Witch Elf.
Possibly. Very possibly. But I guess the wrestle makes it a ball sacking threat rather than a ball carrier.
Yeah, that, and having the 3 blodgers from the very beginning is scary enough as it is.
I mean, to be honest, using the runner suggests that the runner is going to be the ball carrier on that team. Because otherwise you've got a completely wasted skill in dump off.
Yeah. So if someone manages to get rid of that placeholder 2, it could be very problematic. But I have a feeling, are there any... I don't think injuries stay in this, do they? They would. They would have to.
Presumably they wouldn't, because it's in the same way as the players don't level.
Because that would make you look at it and go, then why would you want to play a very, very bashy team? I suppose to just get everyone off the field.
Yeah, it's easier to win if you haven't got any opponents on the field, isn't it?
I've just personally, in my personal games where I did play in a league that didn't have, it was a resurrection league and all that sort of stuff, so no injuries stayed. And I found that the bashy teams just weren't as effective, because one of the big things about the bashy teams is they would maybe not win that particular match, but they would wreck the opponent's team to the point where it would be very difficult for that team to come back in the next one. And then when they end up having to face them again, that team is still severely weakened from the kneecapping they received.
Yeah, exactly right.
But anyway, let's check out the rest of the teams that aren't from RE Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Actually, there's someone that I wanted to check out the team of, and that's Andy. I want to check out Andy Davo's team. Because I, from what I'm aware, he is in this. Somewhere. No? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Can't find him myself.
Yeah, no. I just Andy's easy. Oh, I'll just click on that team anyway. We're looking at Mantra Skull, Icy Blood Bowl. They got a team motto: Steel Champion. So I like his naming style. All of his zombies are just called Random Guy 1 to 7. Because he doesn't expect them to do anything. Yes, Andy Davo. Yeah, Ceramol says he's in there. He is. All right, I'll have a look at his. I'll have a look. He might have changed his name on Steam.
Yeah, I don't know what his actual Blood Bowl name is.
Oh, that's right, because it's Coach. Yeah. No, I think it's still Andy Davo. But anyway, we've got Mr. Wendigo. He's level 2. What do you get? He got Mighty Blow for his werewolf.
I think that's fair enough. Only one werewolf, which is
yeah, that is. Like,
you'd normally see 2.
And personally, like, I tend to use when I create undead teams, not undead. This is necromantic. When I create necromantic teams, I tend to not have the ghoul, and I'll use a werewolf as a ball carrier instead.
Yeah.
Just because they're hardier and also can move further.
I think they're just generally better players.
Yeah, that's also why they cost more.
But presumably this one's going to be used for its killing power rather than its ball carrying.
Yeah, well, otherwise you would have put it on the... Otherwise you would have given it dodge or maybe sure hands or I don't know what.
Yeah, I can understand the spamming of guard as well on the flesh columns and one of the whites. And
he has made the ghoul more defensive with that block on it, making it a blodger.
Yeah, well, you're asking the other guy to have tackle or roll a pow, essentially.
Yeah.
So
apparently there aren't a lot of teams with tackle in this league at the moment. There's a necro team with 2 Mighty Blow Wolves. Oh.
It's an investment you have to make in place of something else, isn't it? And of course, tackle can be a dead skill if you're going up against a team that doesn't have dodge.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's risky to take it.
I like the look of his front line, his very front line, his top 3, which would be Helmet, Zio, Tom, and Igor, the 3 guards that he got.
Yeah, I mean, guard spam's always nice. The more guard you can get, the harder it is to generate 2 dice.
But I'm thinking, because those 3 don't have tackle. One of his whites has tackle, but if he does go up against a, say, dodge stunty team, those guards would be left. What's the word? They'd have the threat taken out of them a lot, I'd think. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Ceramol's saying that he's basically waiting for the nod from us to start the competition.
Oh yeah, go for it. We're just looking at the teams now. And when someone, anyone who is in chat right now, say that when you're going to start a game, tell us, and we'll jump in to give a bit of a shoutcast for that game. But until then, we'll be looking at the teams themselves just randomly. Yeah,
chances are we're not going to get through all 80 teams. So
no. I'll just be click until once a game starts. I will then, we'll be able to see the scheduling once it drops.
Apparently, Shades of Despair is the team we're looking for. Andy Davo's team.
Okay,
is there. Dark Elves.
Oh, Dark Elves. Interesting. I have never seen him play Dark Elves before, so this will be...
It's a different build to the Sage as well. We've got 2 Wrestle Witches.
2 Wrestle Witches and 2 Guard Blitzers.
Yeah, so sacrificing the Mighty Blow and sacrificing a reroll as well compared to Sage.
I mean, when it comes to Dark Elves, just having 2 rerolls seems a bit dangerous to me. Because and I mean, this is just me in superstition, right? Because every time I've played a Dark Elf team, those 2 pluses, they fail a lot more than than you'd like.
I think the thing is, you certainly notice when they've.
Yeah.
If you roll that 1 in 6, you feel it and you notice it instantly. So there's I imagine there's a little bit of confirmation bias in there, but it's always that thing as well. If you roll the 1 when you really don't need to. If you're just disengaging, you'll roll 5s and 6s and 3s all day. But the moment you really need to not roll that 1 is when you feel it the most.
Yeah. I get you. 13 is not too much if you're planning on fouling. That's a different team. Around the top 10. But yeah, I reckon this team is a contender, but I'm not 100% sure of.
So do we know how the competition itself works? I'm assuming the coaches aren't split into groups or anything like that. Is it just sort of?
No, it's. I think it's going to be a random schedule, and like each team's going to be sort of pitted against each other.
Because presumably all 80 teams aren't going to play against all other 80 teams.
No, there's 6 weeks. It's I think whoever goes up against another team, it's if they lose, they're knocked out possibly.
Does it become like a Swiss format where
it is
winners
Swiss?
play
It is
winners?
Swiss.
Yeah, it's Swiss.
See, I've never played Swiss before, so I don't know what that is.
So essentially, winners play winners and losers play losers. And then after week 2, it would be all the teams who were on 2-0-0 records would play against all the teams who were also on 2-0-0 records.
Yeah, and there's 6 rounds, so 6 weeks.
So presumably all the games will be set to overtime format as well, so you can't get draws, because draws would make it very complicated to run a Swiss format.
Yeah. So that should work then. I didn't even know overtime format was a thing. So I'm learning. I've already learned.
We run it in our playoffs.
I ran into the wrong thing as well.
So it's draws are allowed.
Oh, draws are allowed. Okay. And the schedule is up. Here we go. So, Action All Stars, OCC Doom's Revenge. So let's see what the RE Blood Bowl will be going up against.
So the first one I can see is that's Bleeding Hippies Halfling team, I believe. The Bloody Tree Huggers.
Oh, Bloody Tree Huggers. There it is. Okay. I can't just click on the teams from there. Bloody Tree Huggers. Yeah, would have just put tree search.
They're up against Undead.
So let's check out the Bloody Tree Huggers. I've got them open now. So he's got the 2 treemen, as you would.
Yeah.
And
both with block as well, which is very important.
Yeah, and that's very scary.
And to be honest, that's where you want your skills, because you don't really need skills.
He gave one of his halflings dirty player.
I like that. I do like that a lot.
But it's like
a threat.
It is a threat, but at the exact same time, I sort of feel that maybe having another player with diving tackle or something like that could have been slightly more effective. Or having something with sure hands. See, I'm a very big fan of the sure hand skill, and I do believe that every team should have at least one player that has it, unless you've got like an elf team or something with agility 4.
So it's 800 team value, which means he is going to be the 400 required down.
Yeah.
To pick up Deep Root and the Chef.
Yeah, that is true.
Which will be the plan for most of the season. So that's going to be 3 trees with block, and that's tough to deal with.
I mean, you say that, but if they root immediately, which I've seen, I mean, Deep Root can't, and his definitely a threat at all times. But if the other 2 Deep Root, if the other 2 root during the earlier phase of a half, it can become very easy for something like an elf team to get around it. Yeah.
I mean, halflings are going to have a tough time anyway, which is why there's a separate prize for stunty teams here.
Yeah. Get a trophy for being a stunty team that wins.
So what else have we got? I'm just trying to.
I want to see the
really know.
I want to see the team that they're going up against, which was the super sexy Mummies team. Oh god, some of the names of these teams are great.
They really are. They really are.
Shows the creativity.
So, wow. So we've got 6 players with block on the team. Both Mummies have block.
Able to actually look at it yet? Oh, Sipper. Oh no, it's a umlaut. It's got an umlaut on it.
It is an umlaut.
I can't
just to make it awkward.
Yeah, just so I can't type it in, bastard. Just type mum. That should work. Here it is. Alright, there we go. So yeah, he's got 2 mummies with block. Got a white with... It's an interesting choice. Putting... as tackle. Tackle... Only got 1 tackle. But I suppose, depending on the teams you get put up against, that's fine. 2 block... Yeah. Why would you have 2 blodge ghouls?
Well, you've got 3 ghouls in total.
3?
I would have assumed that you would take 1 as a blodger and 1 as maybe a wrestle dodge.
But I've always been quite strong on the I would never have more than 2 ghouls, and most of the time I tend to just have 1.
Yeah, or again, 1 with sure hands.
Yeah.
The double blodge makes them hard to get down, but it's also, you know, there's only really ever, well, there can only be 1 carrying the ball, which will presumably be one of those 2.
And looking at all the teams we've looked at so far, none of them have had a sure hands player. So it's going to be interesting seeing how many turns it takes for any given team to pick up the ball. Because Nuffle can really screw you on that part. I've had a lot of teams, and I've seen a lot of people play teams that they've gone, no, I don't need sure hands or something. And they've had low rerolls, or they've wanted to use their rerolls and other things, and they've just failed to pick up the ball time and time again.
That's the thing, it can all start going horribly wrong the moment you fail that first pickup, really, because then if you haven't to burn a reroll turn 1, especially if you're up against a fast team. So if
Necromantic against Necromantic that have that 8 movement allowance, 8 players.
Well, he is up against Flings, and Flings can throw players at the ball if you don't pick that up.
And since we don't have to worry about injuries because of the resurrection rules, you're more likely to take injury risk plays if you have a large bench as well.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think we might end up seeing some very injury risk plays, personally. So are there any games currently going? Check.
Good question. I'm just looking through the schedule just to see if there's looks like Andy's up against a team called Run Pass Score, which are, a quick search tells me, humans. And it's Ethelred's humans. Ethelred, who is from RPS, I believe.
Ah, okay. Run Pass Score. I keep going out of the league completely instead of just going back. Run. Have a look. Yeah, Run Pass Score. PC gaming since 1873.
They do have a tackle. They also have a kicker.
That's a It's just to minimize the effect of possibly the ball going out, or I mean, it does do that, but most people in this league, I think, would set up their defense well enough. Oh, sorry, their attack well enough that you wouldn't be able to kick it to a dead zone.
I guess it depends what you're up against. Obviously, if you can kick it deep and roll a blitz, then you can get a catcher into pressure the ball quickly.
Well, also if you're against a very slow team, if you're against a team that doesn't have a lot of movement allowance, kicking it as far back as you possibly can could give you a massive advantage to move up and stop their advance.
He is, however, up against Dark Elves.
Yeah, so that's not
that won't work.
Yeah, no. Or he could,
Fairly
if
standard
there's also
though,
an option, which I've seen a few times, which is to kick it as to the front of the line as you can and have a good defense that can't be dodged, that won't be easily dodged past, so you can push up immediately to get the ball off of them. Seen a few
It's
people
a fairly standard. We've got basically a mixed bag of blitzers: one with guard, one with mighty blow, one with tackle, and then just a rookie.
Mm.
And the dirty player lineman I kind of like as well.
Yeah.
And that will be useful against Dark Elves.
It doesn't have the bench though, so even if the dirty player does go off, there's a okay chance that he hasn't used his full team value though, has he?
He hasn't. I don't know whether he's playing around a bribe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
He's going to be, it's 12-20, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got 100.
He's going to be 10k short.
Yeah. He is 100 and for tier 2, so it's a 1240. Yeah. So he's 110k, which means he could get himself 2 bribes if he needed them. Which I think is going to be his play.
Is that how it works against, if he goes up against a 12-20, because Dark Elves
No,
right?
yeah.
So presumably he's going to be only getting 90k.
Ah, yep. I think that's why his team value is 110 down from the max he could have, I think, to try and stop that sort of thing from happening. Even though it's happened here with the Dark Elves, I think he.
Oh, well, if he'd come up against any other tier 2 team, then yeah, the bribe was guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, he's still going to get at least 1 bribe, right?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be 10k short, because I think Andy's team was at 12-20.
Oh, right. For some reason I was thinking Goblin rules, where bribes are 50k.
Now it's 100k for a bribe. So
yeah, 100k for a bribe, so he is 10k short.
To pick that one up.
So he's probably kicking himself over that one.
I guess it's the luck of the draw.
It is a luck of the draw. Have you made the RE Blood Bowl hype vids yet, Harringzord?
So it's due tomorrow. I've had a bit of a busy week, but yeah, there's something in the pipeline. Hype videos are sort of my thing.
I see. I'll have to give him a check. I do like me some hype videos. So does it say in progress if a game that's scheduled is happening at the time?
I don't believe it would. We kind of just have to check Cabal TV, which I can go and do now.
Yeah, sure, and I'll just have a look at another team. Actually, does Ceramol have a team in this?
He probably does.
I would assume he does. Well, I don't know his coach name. I don't know a lot of people's coach names. That's
I think he is just Ceramol in the game, but he might not have a team. Might just be organising the whole shebang.
By the looks of it.
Doesn't look to me like there's any games live at the moment.
Okay, good. So we're not missing anything.
So who haven't we talked about? There's plenty of...
Shattered Ice is someone that I have watched a few games of, and I heard that he was in the game. Big. Or they. Yeah, Ceramol's not playing, they're only organising.
That's fair.
Someone was asking if are there any Skaven teams, so let's have a look through. No Skaven there. There's a Skaven team by Poncho DLV. It's Mad. This is one of the Mad teams.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about Mad Academy yet, have we? So
no, we have
not.
Have a look
at that one.
Yeah. Because I know Mad Academy is one of the few that sent in a description for their everything. Looking for it. Yeah, the Blood Bowl Mad Academy is a French-based league. So it's an academy first.
So aimed at newer players?
Looks at, yes, aimed at newer players, and it focuses on training and improving. So improving yourself through just playing with each other. And learning how to deal with the psychological pressures of the game. So not losing your cool and doing stupid things because you're on tilt. So they're all about keeping your cool. which I think is something that you definitely need if you want to be a very good Blood Bowl player, because I've definitely unintentionally thrown games by going on tilt.
It happens, doesn't it? When the other guys are on 6s and you're chucking 1s at the board.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does. And then you start taking bigger risks. And as someone, I used to work in a casino. I used to be a poker specialist. So I know what it's like to see someone that they start off fine, and it doesn't matter how good a player you are, then starts coming when you go on tilt, you start making bigger and bigger and bigger risks. So you're betting
it's
more.
When you fall behind. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So if someone goes 1 down on their half, on their attacking half, and then they start trying to play catch up, but they play catch up a little bit too hard, that's when things can start getting problematic.
Interesting thing on this team straight away is the Rat Ogre.
Yeah. I've never been happy with the Rat Ogres. That wild animal.
Well, it's a controversial piece amongst Rebel. Mainly because the problem with the Rat Ogre is that if it's not in contact with something, you need to blitz with it. And you really want to be blitzing with your Storm Vermin.
Yeah, you don't want to blitz with something that can wild animal. And then it also has loner, so you can't just re-roll into it.
Yeah, or you want to be blitzing with your strip ball if you've got a chance at taking the ball down.
Yeah, so in my opinion, that gutter runner with the strip ball is a very good choice, but it's also a bad choice at the same time because that strength 2 can cause you some strife.
It can. There is sure hands here.
Yeah.
So there we go. We have a sure hands player at last.
Finally, it took him a while. But it's sure hands on an agility 4. So when you don't have that many level ups to work with and the team would be static the entire time, this is one of those situations where I would go, well, I've got 4 agility 4 players. I will use I won't have sure hands and I'll grab something else instead. Something that could potentially stop me from being screwed by other players.
I think the advantage with strip ball over wrestle here is that the chances of you rolling a push or a defender stumbles are much higher than the chance of rolling the both down.
Yeah.
And if you roll the both down, in this format, the opposition ball carrier might not necessarily have block anyway. In which case that both down could work to at least knock the ball out of their hands. Yeah, it would cause a turnover. But your odds of rolling something that will activate the strip ball are much better than rolling the specific both down you need. Especially when your opponent's choosing the dice roll.
But personally, something that I may have considered taking instead of the sure hands would be something like sure feet. Because being able to do those going for it's with a little bit more security, especially when you're not going to have a heap of rerolls as it is. Being able to go those extra couple of squares in a turn with that ball carrier can be a lifesaver, especially for a team that can already move so far.
Agree. It's a nice skill. I think the problem is when you've only got 6 that you can apply, it's probably too situational to be worthwhile. It's sort of a nice thing to pad out a player who's maybe got a plus movement or something like, like a natural one-turner.
Yeah.
But as it is, it's a fairly the Rat Ogre. I think it's not a player I like, but I can understand wanting the extra beefiness on the front line. But the problem is that Armor 8 isn't massively beefy.
Oh, Cunning Fops Pup in a chat says it's a real shame that this tournament has these rules so he can't crush the necks of the gutter runners. Well, I mean, you can for that game.
Keep coming back. So there we go. That's one of Mad Academy's teams.
Yeah, so I'll have a look at the rest of the Mad teams as well. And also the Iron Phoenixes? Was another...
I believe. Yeah, Iron Phoenix are here. They've got Michaels, Tector, Knockoff, and Doc Oz playing Undead, Skaven, Chaos Dwarf, and Human, respectively.
That's interesting. So there's a decent amount of human players, which I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting humans to show up much at all, because I am a person who loves humans. I have a team that in my league that is terrifyingly good. We have an agility 4 and an agility 5, and it is only human linemen. And what made it work is the number of rerolls I have. So I have a lot of bloat, which is what people keep telling me, my reroll bloat, because I have 6 rerolls.
Yeah.
But at the start, where teams don't tend to have a lot of rerolls, they usually go into wanting higher value players. It's amazing how quickly the tide turns in my favor once they run out. Because they see me using a reroll every single turn, and it actually, it's almost like a psychological thing where they will start doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're out. So we've got a Gecko Fury. So does that mean they're going to be playing more skinks than usual? Ah, we've got a skink with sure hands. The Gecko Fury. So I think this is a... I just looked straight at that. And they didn't go block on their Croxigor. They went break tackle instead.
Yeah, okay.
That's with that bonehead, that's dangerous in my... Because if they're going to be going break tackle... Oh, you could be using it to tie up players with that prehensile tail, I suppose.
That's more. I think that's likely the plan, and there is the option of a cage dive if there's a loose cage in play as well. If you're in a desperate spot, you could throw, because he is strength 5.
He is.
So in a desperate spot, you can try and dodge in Agi 5.
Yeah.
If it's sort of like, if you're happy for it to fail, if that makes sense.
And also, if you happen to get a touchback and put that on the Croxigor, that would be a very difficult ball carrier to deal with.
He's basically, what he's done is he's traded the double on the Croxigor for the double on the skink.
Yeah. Because they're only allowed 1 double, aren't they, if they're a tier 1?
I believe they're allowed 2, but the problem is that it adds too much team value.
Yeah.
So it costs you from getting a skill on another player, so you're best off just taking the 1 double.
True. But looking at this though, they've got no guard, which in my opinion is definitely almost necessity with Lizardmen. Because I mean, they have those high strength players, but once they've gotten them separated, they're a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, you do need to sort of keep them
together
as a unit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they start getting picked off.
Because I've seen very good plays by a lot of things like Wood Elf teams where they use their leaps and their high dodge values to get in between teams that don't have that guard and get all those, what are they called? The assists.
Yeah.
Getting those assists from behind as well. Block is dubs. That already has... Yeah, it's already a high enough team value.
Just looking, it doesn't look to me like there's any games up yet. I'm still checking that out.
Yeah, we're still just waiting on a game. If there's any team that you guys want to see, just say it in chat, and I will definitely have a look. Storbus has a block Roger, Rat Ogre too.
So more than one Roger.
We've got a Norse team. Wouldn't mind having a look at that. Another by Mad. Glorious. And is named it after Mad, the people in the in their league, the Mad Academy streamers or players. Sorry.
Oh wow, 2-strip ball.
2-strip ball, huh? That feels like a wasted skill in my opinion.
And a thrower, which is a rarely seen piece on a Norse team. Because who are you passing to?
Yeah, because they don't have catch. Oh well, he's got 2 throwers.
He's got 2 throwers. Wow.
2 throwers.
Okay.
He doesn't have anyone with catch either.
Interesting.
I would have, if I was going to have a thrower, I would have, and since you can choose your skills and you can choose who gets a double or all that sort of stuff, I would have made sure I had one, probably a runner that had catch.
Yeah, he's got 2. He's gone full mans on the positionals here. 2 throwers, 2 runners, 2 berserkers, 2 wolves.
That is such a weird choice.
It's a wonky build, isn't it? But it'll be interesting to see how this team goes.
I wouldn't mind seeing it because one of my favorite things about Blood Bowl is stirring the pot with unconventional teams, like my line of linemen. My line of linemen that has won 16 out of 22 games. So I like showing that unconventional teams can work if you play them well enough. And I would love to see a team like this, which is quite unconventional. I want to see them do well.
I think he's got multiple players that can threaten the ball. So he's not just got one ball sacker. He's got potentially 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
But I think the issue he's got is that his team's quite well built for defensive things.
But attacking is going to be an issue.
Very well built for when he's got the ball.
And also,
just the 2 rerolls as well.
Having 4 frenzies is a definite danger, because getting frenzy baited could, if he's not careful, if he doesn't plan out every move he makes with his frenzies, he can get himself into a world of hurt.
Agreed.
Like a surf at the wrong time could take out one of his key players.
I'm fine with no Yeti on the team, though. I don't really like the Norse Yeti at low TV, particularly. Again, it's just it's wild animal. It's just too unreliable.
But it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Apparently, Saimar has a vampire team that they've decided to put an apothecary on, which makes sense.
Should we move on from Mad Academy?
Yeah.
Look at another one of the leagues.
Looking for Sai. I don't know their coach name. Oh, Sai MAA.
People having different names everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, see, I've managed to... Nephilim _AU is my name in everything. Everything. Until people start to steal it. Which hasn't happened yet, which is nice. Page 1. Vampires... here we go. That's Papillon, 47.
So that's an ICBBL entry.
I've got 4 rerolls, 3 vampires. Okay, that's a usual good choice. I've seen some good teams go with 4 vampires, but 3 is solid. You don't want less than that, because then you've sort of crippled yourself with too many thralls. He's got two thralls on the bench. So 1240, that's the max you can have with...
It is, yeah, tier 2.
Yep.
So 2 wrestlers, a kicker, and a dirty player. Dirty player's nice. He's got more than enough men on the bench to mean that the fouling game is an option. But of course, the problem with vampires is you remove your own players probably as quickly as the opposition do.
Yeah, I was in Blood Bowl 1, vampires was the team I played the most. And I can tell you that the vampires, although they are very good and at hypnotize can ruin the day of a lot of, like, if you're up against teams that rely heavily on where their units are placed, you can mess them up. Like going up against dwarves was a godsend when I was playing with vampires. And the more vampires...
They probably got the... Yeah. I was just going to say they probably got the biggest swing between being a lot of fun to play and being not a lot of fun to play at all if they start bloodlusting everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And you've also got that extra level of worry, which obviously has been taken out with that apothecary, which I think is a good choice on a vampire team, even in the resurrection format. That extra little bit of pain when a vampire can just remove a thrall completely from the game. On, like, turn 1, if you're unlucky.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, would it have been better to possibly have 1 less skill? Because most people have 6 skills. He's gone for 7. Would it have been better to have 1 less skill and have maybe an extra thrall instead?
Maybe he hasn't taken any doubles from what I can see on any of the players, so...
No, yeah, they're all general skills. That, and well, the vampires have dodge. But that's
with the vampires having access to general agility and strength anyway, you're not going to take a passing skill on a vampire. There's no reason to.
I beg to differ there. I have in the past done so, and it has worked out. They may be both agility 4 and the like, but and that is a good reason not to do it. Not needing catch or pass or anything like that, but having something like accurate on a vampire can mean that you can throw their entire throw range and it still be a 2+. And that can be very, very useful, especially when the one who's going to catch on the other side is almost guaranteed to be able to nab it. And since this is a tier 2, they would be able to take more than one double. So having a vampire with, say, steel nerves on the other end can mean that...
It would change the way you play, because obviously if you're playing with I kind of think of, if I think of a passing team, I think of a human team with the thrower who sort of sits at the back and plays the quarterback role. Now, I guess the issue with a vampire is that if he bloodlusts on his own all the way back up there, then you can't really move him about on his own without having a guy there for company.
See, that's why when positioning with a vampire team, I do the quarterback idea. Almost every time. It's the only way I've played it. I don't even know why, but I've never thought of a thrall ball carrier. And I don't think many people use it that way either, because using the vampires as a ball carrier definitely levels them up faster, which is what you want.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Having when you put your vampire back to catch the ball or kick it, you always have a thrall that is 3 squares in front of them.
Yeah.
So that way, the vampire's not, since they have the same movement allowance, the vampire's not going to be without blood regardless of where you want to go. I also like his names. Find them interesting. Sophisticated Taste. It particularly is a nice one for me. Puppet for Puppeteer.
It's always better when a lot of thought has gone into the name and things.
Yeah, see, I like that as well. I used to name all of my teams after a theme and stuff like that, and then I started naming them after viewers, and I think I might go back to naming them, some of them at least, after themes. There was one that I made which was the Serial Killers, spelt like eating cereal with the vampires.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Count Chocula was the lead vampire on that one. And they were all named after various breakfast cereals. And that was a pretty good team. There's a halfling team, the Fling Thing, Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace, who is from... where was he from? It looks like he's one of the DBBL. DBBL seem to have 3 teams, which is a lot of teams.
That means, yeah, they have at least 300 players, don't they?
As far as I understand, yeah.
That's a lot of teams. So, do we know who has the most teams in a league?
I assume it's DBBL. Rebel have got 2. BB Tactics have got 2. UK BBL have 2. OCC have 2. And then across the board, it seems to be 1, with the exception of DBBL.
Yeah, Ceramol says DBBL is the leader of most teams.
Now, I thought the Rebel Rookies were also entering a team, but I can't seem to see them on this list. That's Squiggy's been running a little venture over there. But it looks like our rookies haven't entered.
Maybe they have. Maybe they have under. They just haven't put it in the name at all. We could look through the coaches at some point and see if they've got. Notice a name there. Looking at the Treeman. I can't tell what that skill is. Grab. He's given both of his Treeman grab. Dennis the Menace.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have given them block personally.
Again, agreed. I think when you've got that much, you don't really need the skills on the halflings, do you? So
no, but this is the thing. Look at this. This is a team for you. They've got 2 dirty players, but only 1 on the bench. So that's like I know that they're going to get they're gonna get a lot of inducement money, but at the same time they'll probably want to get that deep root if they.
Yeah. Well, I mean, grab's of course a good skill for if the tree roots. So we can keep.
That is true.
one-
Cornite says that the grab is to pull the whatever player that happens to be back into everything, so that way they can be fouled.
Yeah, that's also fair enough.
So this team is a foul team. This foul team, ugh. But it could be interesting to see how that plays. Like a team that is built to foul the enemy, how far that could go.
I guess the question then becomes:
why would you put
are
two?
they spending all of that inducement money on bribes rather than the normal Halfling Master Chef and Deep Root combo?
I mean, it could be interesting because everyone that I've versed that's Halflings, they all play it the same way, which is that Deep Root Master Chef combo. But it would be interesting seeing them played that way, where they've put 4 skills. 4 of their 6 skills have gone into fouling, by the looks of it. But then you've also got 2 halflings that have block, and that feels if you're gonna put 2/3 of your skills into fouling, why not go the whole ham, or get something with sure hands to at least pick up the ball instead of having those 2 with block? It feels less useful.
Of course, that, unless I'm wrong, that's 4 doubles applied to that team as well, which is the maximum number of doubles you can apply.
Oh, because they don't get general skills. Halflings do they? They get agility.
No, they're all... So instead of going for the doubles on the tree, they've gone for the doubles flings instead.
That seems like a... I would like to see how this team goes. I'm not going to say it's a bad team or anything, because I have no clue. But I just think that that's a poor decision. Using those doubles to get those blocks feels on strength 2 players as well. So most things are going to be hitting that 2 die because they don't have any guard.
Yeah. I think chat seems to be suggesting that it's probably going to be built for, you're not going to take the chef, you're going to take a bribe.
Yeah. It's built to go after the key players in a team and foul them. Personally, I don't think this team is going to do well. I'd like to see it do well, but I don't think it will. Especially against quicker teams. Because those treemen are going to have a hard time getting to the key players, and no one in their right mind would put key players in front of the treemen.
No, you just run away.
Yeah, you keep your key players.
Keep up.
Yeah, exactly. And even the halflings only have a movement allowance of 5, which is 1 less than usual. They're getting up to... I want to see how they play it, because we might be wrong about how they're going to play it.
It's not a build I've seen with halflings before, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays, definitely.
We're watching you. What else do we have? Anything else steps out? We've got a few Wood Elf teams.
I don't think we've talked about OCC yet.
OCC, no. Do we know what teams? Are there any? Do they have OCC in the name?
Good question. Don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. We've got one OCC. The OCC, as in like the show by Trap. This is a maybe by Trap. It is an Amazon team. And they've gone for guard. Every skill that they chose was guard.
Wow.
That's okay. And 5 rerolls. That is a very an apothecary maybe, because that armor value 7. They do have extra players though. They have a bench. But guard on every player.
That is an interesting build. It is Bash Amazons.
Bash Amazons, in truth. I would have probably gotten rid of one of those guard to have catch. Because they've got pass. All they'd need is a catcher at the other end. So I probably would have... Yeah.
They've committed. They've thought of a plan, and they've committed very, very heavily to said plan.
Or if you had no intention of passing it all, don't grab the thrower. Grab another line woman instead, and have that line woman have sure hands. That way, you've got your ball, the one who can pick up the ball, and then the rest just beat the crap out of the enemy. Ceramol says these ones are going to be... Oh, okay. So Meebe is a very, very experienced Amazon coach.
So this is probably something he's tried before.
Or something new.
5 rerolls is a lot, and you can go very aggressive with.
Yeah, that's... Okay, well, that's the whole thing with... Most of my teams are very high reroll based. So I completely understand that decision. I have a feeling this team's going to do well. I just really think having one line woman with sure hands, or having the thrower have sure hands, or having a line woman with catch would have been a better choice. But we'll see how they do. Because again, you're not going for level ups and SPP and things like this in this particular league. It is about scoring and winning. And you can't take down your opponents preemptively for next game.
The dodge guard combo means you can get that guard into some really useful positions.
That is true. And also having, as always with Amazon, having 4 blodgers is a terrifying thing to see when you're going up against them. Especially if you don't have any block.
Tackle quite rare, because I don't think there's too many dwarfs knocking around.
No, that's what I remember being told. This is a min-max team and it's a nightmare. You might have opted for Mighty Blow on one of the blitzers. Yeah, if you are going to go bash. But then again, this is going into it with the idea that they know that the opponents can't be taken out permanently. So they're not going for injuries. They're more going for boxing your opponent in. I suppose that is the option as well. Keep everyone within the assist range and literally circle in your opponents, where they'll have no way out. If you were going to do that, though, you'd probably want to do it with a team that has a bit higher movement allowance. There's another OCC, the Underworld Denizens. They're all in a row in the team list, which is nice. So we've got a Norse by the OCC. So we've got one Amazon and one Norse. Orca-Cola forever. So, once again, we've got the 2 werewolves, 2 berserkers, and a thrower, with no one to catch it. Wait, is this the team we looked at?
No, it's a different team.
No, it's almost set up the same way.
Yeah, there's only 1 thrower as opposed to 2 this time, and there's an extra reroll in the bank.
But once again, no sure hands and no one to catch the ball on the other end.
There's a blodger though, who's quite nice as well.
Yeah, that. Oh, wait. Yeah, there we go. The runner. So they'll probably use the runner as their ball carrier, I'd assume. But catching it at that other end is going to be cool. And they've got one of their werewolves to have block and one of them to have wrestle. Which I think is a good choice. If you're going to have something with Frenzy, you definitely want to have block on it. I wouldn't come into a league like this, or anything that you can have pre-leveled, without block on the Frenzies, or wrestle.
Yeah.
Underworld Denizens.
Yeah, we haven't seen any
Troll.
Underworld teams yet.
Sorry?
I'm saying we haven't seen any Underworld teams yet.
Yes, I'm looking at the Underworld team now. 4-man's Pidpad.
That is Claw on a Troll.
Yeah, Claw on a Troll. A very interesting choice. It starts with Mighty Blow. They haven't...
Well, Claw Mighty Blow is a potent combination.
It is a very potent combination, but there's no block on that Troll.
No.
I suppose you're going to be getting 2 dice. They've got 4 rerolls, so they can reroll half of the time. But then again, loner. So, I think that I would not have done that personally. Because that troll's got really stupid and loner, as most of the big dudes do.
The rest of the CL's going at the Skaven players, understandably, leaving the goblins well alone.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to put any of them on the goblins. There's no point in doing that.
2 throws with block, 2 linemen with wrestle.
Gave one of his blitzes mighty blow as well, so he's got 2 mighty blow on this team, which makes it the bashiest team we've seen so far when it comes to trying to do injuries, like injury-based team.
Certainly up there, yeah.
Gave both of his Skaven... this is what I find interesting. He gave both of his Skaven throwers block, but not dodge. So that high movement allowance, I would personally want dodge on one of them to get them out of those zones.
Yeah, possibly. I think Ceramore makes a good suggestion there with tentacles on the Underworld Troll.
Yeah.
Just to make you sort of
I would
your own
preferred...
Beast of Nurgle.
See, that's what I have. One of my teams, the Mortifer's Beasts, has a strength 6 Minotaur that has tentacles. And he is hell to deal with.
The thing is, when you've got tentacles, you kind of don't activate him all that. When you play with a Beast of Nurgle, you don't block all the time. You just take him up to some players and just leave him where he is.
Yep. While the Warpstone Troll may be higher, you actually want the piece to move.
Yeah.
And since it's a less bashy team, unlike the Nurgle's Chaos, you have less ability, I think, to push your opponent into the Beast of Nurgle's zone. So having a Warpstone Troll that has tentacles, you have less dudes that can just hit whoever you want into that Beast of Nurgle's area. Oh, sorry, the Warpstone Troll.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the reason why he didn't go 2 heads on any of the goblins, because that would be a waste of a level up for the other things that he could have. But at the same time...
They die quickly,
yeah.
the goblins.
The goblins do. But at the same time, they come back because of res rules. But yeah, if you lose that 2-headed goblin right at the start, you're a bit fubbernucked.
Certainly are.
Because then your 1 ball carrier is gone. But those Skaven come with sure hands, so you have at least 2 ball carriers already. What other team? There's another Skaven team right there. Sorry, not. Another Underworld Denizens. Under a Bad Moon by Travel Scrabble. So we can compare the 2 teams to see how someone else does it. See Trouble on the Way. So once again, Warpstone Troll with Claw on Under a Bad Moon. It must be a thing that I've never heard of.
Okay, so that is a very similar build, except we do have a 2-headed goblin and a Dirty Player goblin.
Yeah. They've decided not to get block on that other Skaven, on that other thrower.
I think that's fair enough. You can only have 1 thrower with the ball at any given time.
Yeah. That is true.
But everything else very similar. But yeah, this one has gone the way of the 2-headed goblin, and the Dirty Player I like as well, considering there's a deep bench there.
You seem to like the Dirty Player.
Fouls are fun. That's the thing.
I feel bad. My conscience makes me feel bad about fouling people.
No, I think my attitude tends to be, if you've got a good player, I don't want to be playing against it because it makes it harder for me to win. So if he's on the floor...
And I completely understand that. I have, in one of the leagues I have played in, poor guy by the name of Neon Omega. He went up against my line of linemen with his Nurgle, his Nurgle Chaos, and I fouled to death his Beast of Nurgle, and then also strength busted one of his Chaos Warriors, and armor value busted another Chaos Warrior.
That's a nightmare.
It was.
I think the thing is, no one has ever felt bad about piling on. So, if no one feels bad about piling on, then I'm not going to feel bad about fouling the dude who just piled on one of my players.
I'm going to have a look at this Elven Union team, again by the OCC.
I think this is going to be my last team to check out before other commitments take over my evening.
Fair enough. And then after that, we'll check if a game is running. Because I definitely want to, for you guys, shoutcast one of the games.
Interesting. So this OCC kill 'em at the hot club.
You kill 'em at the hot club. Kill it on the floor. His motto is "Let's rock," but he's got a catcher. So he's put dodge on his players because the pro elves don't start with dodge, do they?
No, they don't. No, the catchers only have catch and nerves of steel.
But that makes that 3 catches. That's, in my opinion, an interesting choice. Because I suppose he's got 1 catcher on the bench, maybe? But you would want to have your level players out there. So you're getting use of them.
I guess you've got 3 threats to throw the ball to, and it's hard to mark down 3 threats are in different areas of the field.
Yeah, and what I would worry about is he's only got 1 thrower. If something manages to take that 1 thrower down.
Yeah, it's always the risk, isn't it? Because he's, as I say, with accurate, he's always going to be playing that quarterback role, sitting at the back and waiting for the right time to make the pass.
And if, say you go up against a halfling team, they manage to throw the halfling at that player and smack him. Because I've had that happen before. My key player, the only player that I had that was worth anything at the time, I had a halfling hit him and take him out for the game.
It happens. By it. It certainly happens.
Using those halflings as missiles.
That's the best way.
Yeah, definitely the best way. Spider, Goblin, Khemri All-Stars. You think it's in the name?
All right, so I'm going to jump out of this one here.
All right, cool.
So thanks very much for the invite along, guys. I think I've possibly put my name down if TVBL needs someone to cast some of the games. I do a lot of casting work over at Rebels, so can jump in.
Yeah, I'll give your channel a shout out.